thou huntest my soul to take it. The Lord judge between me and thee, and the Lord avenge of me, but mine hand shall not be upon thee. As saith the proverb of the ancients, wickedness proceedeth from the wicked, but mine hand shall not be upon thee. After whom is the king of Israel come out? After whom dost thou pursue? After a dead dog, after a flea? The Lord therefore be judge, and judge between me and thee, and see, and plead my case, and delivered me out of my hand. Now, he basically, this is like his time, you know, like Saul's basically giving him a moment to say something, because he had been looking for him for months, and Saul wanted him dead, and David knew that Saul wanted him dead, but he like it said, and after a dead dog or after a flea. So like you're trying to you're trying to hunt me, and you're trying to kill me and I have done nothing against you, basically is what he's saying. I have not sinned against you, and and he showed him the piece of garment that he had in his hand. I have not done anything. I had the opportunity, and people were telling me to kill you, but I spared your life because I knew that the Lord was with you, and it is not anointed for me to kill you. And Saul just, I mean, imagine, you know, you being in that position of Saul, and you're just like, wow, okay, wow. And it's verse 16, and it came to pass when David has an end of speaking these words unto Saul, that Saul said, Is this thy voice, my son David? And Saul lifted up his voice and wept, and he said to David, Thou art more righteous than I, for thou hast rewarded me good, whereas I have rewarded thee evil. But thou hast shewed this day how that thou hast dwelt well with me. For as much as when the Lord had delivered me into thine hand, thou killed me not. For if a man find his enemy, will he let him go well away? Now that takes you to the verse that says, I think in Matthew, and it says, love your enemy. You know, that's what David did. He loved his enemy. That's what Saul was not doing. He was not following after the Lord's commandment of loving your enemy. He hated David, even though he wasn't his enemy. And now, behold, I know well that thou shalt surely be king, and that the kingdom of Israel shall be established in mine hand. And in this next chapter, chapter 25, Samuel is the prophet of this time, and Samuel dies. And it talks a little bit about this next. This next part is when David kind of returns to the kingdom, and he returns to his wife, and he makes Abigail his wife, and then he has another wife, Ahinoam. But in chapter 26, now after all that just had happened, after he spared his life, after Saul repented, and after his plea, the same thing happens again. You know, and this is King Saul, and he has an evil spirit on him. And when an evil spirit is, you know, when it's not the spirit of the Lord, things happen, and it's, you know, it's not the person, it's the spirit upon the person. And in chapter 26, it said, David spares Saul the second time. And the Ziphites came unto Saul to Gibeath, saying, Doth not David hide himself in the hill of Achal? So he had to, after he came back from the kingdom, in chapter 25, he came back from the kingdom, and Saul now saw he saw that he was kind of rebuilding his life again, because he had been gone for so long, so many months. Now he was rebuilding his life again, and saw that evil spirit came upon him again, and he wanted him dead again. And even after everything that happened, he wanted him dead again. And then it says, Then Saul arose, went down to the wilderness of Ziph. And so now this is when David left again, having 3,000 chosen men of Israel with him to seek David in the wilderness of Ziph. And Saul pitched in the hill of Hachilah, which is before Jeshimon, by the way. But David abode in the wilderness, and he saw that Saul came after him in the wilderness. David therefore sent out spies, and understood that Saul was come in very deed. And David arose and came into the place where Saul had pitched. And David beheld where Saul lay. And Abner the son of Ner, the captain of the host, and Saul lay in the trench, and the people pitched round about him. Let's skip down to verse 7. So David and Abishai came to the people by night, and behold, Saul lay with him in the trench, and his steer stuck in the ground to his bolster. But Abner and the people lay round about him. Then said Abishai to David, God hath delivered thine enemy. So now he was in Saul's camp. David and this Abishai was in Saul's camp again, and And Abishai said, God hath delivered thine enemy into thy hand this day. Again, he doesn't say again, but it happens again. Now therefore, let me smite him, I pray thee, with the spear, even to the earth at once, and I will not smite him the second time. And David said to Abishai, destroy him not, for who can stretch forth his hand? So this other man says, I will kill him, and his blood doesn't have to be on your hands, but we need to get rid of him because he's your enemy. But David said, no, destroy him not, for who can stretch forth his hand against the Lord's anointed and be guiltless? So, the Spirit of the Lord is definitely with David through all this. And, just imagine, this is kind of like character building, because David is going to become the king of Israel, but he has to go through these many things so that he can be prepared for that kind of a task. David said furthermore, as the Lord liveth, the Lord shall smite him, or his day shall come to die, or he shall descend into battle and perish. So David doesn't know how he's going to die, but he knows that Saul's going to have to die, but he knows that it's not going to be by his own hand. And the Lord forbid that I should stretch forth my hand against him, and the Lord's anointed. But I pray thee, take now the spirit that is at his bolster, and the cruse of water, and let us go. Let's see. Then said Saul, I've sinned. Let's go. Let's skip down to verse